And welcome everybody to the Lonely TARDIS, your weekly journey into Time Lords and space by three wonderful companions of the Doctor. These companions, you might recognize us. I'm going to try to point there, and here. I worked that time. I know. To my left is, well, I'm Dolly, as you can see by the name here. To my left, the wonderful, the beer, Mr. Marcus Beer, who's drinking water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's what I do.
It's what he does. And then below him there, Sean Norton.
What's up? Wait, what's this one? Over here? Yeah, there it is.
Over there.
I can't reach yet.
I like the poster behind you, by the way. That's pretty cool. The Marvel
Thank
poster.
you.
You got there.
Yeah,
that is a very cool poster.
I'm very slowly moving into my office in my house and everything.
Yeah, we demand that you get more Doctor Who stuff. Absolutely demanded, because I don't see anything up there.
No,
well, I don't know if you can see Sean on here. You can see if you can make out it's the Avengers cap. It's the A for Avengers.
That one's cool. The black. Nice. Oh, that's neat. Nice.
I got the Avengers campus at Disney back in May.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky.
They have some really good swag there.
I don't know if this will come through on the camera. This is my wedding ring.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
It's in where am I going? It's in Gallifreyan.
Oh, very nice.
Dude.
All right, you win Nerd of the Year contest.
Yeah, you win.
So even though I don't have anything behind me right now, and I do have some Doctor Who art on my Christmas list, I always have a little bit of the Doctor with me.
Awesome.
Always good.
So, I have a bunch of Doctor Who stuff off to my left. I would rotate the camera,
off
but you'd
camera.
see.
Yeah.
Ready? Hold on. Way over there. You can kind of see it, but
it's blurry, dude.
There you go. It's blurry. You can see Matt Smith.
Like,
is that there?
Captain Jack?
Says bow ties are cool.
Captain Jack and some beer mugs? Is that what that is?
Captain Jack and some beer mugs. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, awesome to have you guys again, as usual, to be chatting with my boys, my Doctor Who fanatics. We're going to talk about episode 3 of season 13, Doctor Who Flux. This one's called Once Upon Time. Brief synopsis: the Doctor just somehow jumps into the time storm and shoots everybody into different time areas and to protect them. And then by the end, is trying to find out why weeping angels are suddenly popping up all over the place. I'll leave it at that. Nice and simple. See, I told you guys I was gonna get these quicker every week. We find out a little bit more about Swarm and Azure, which are still kind of badass names. Although, okay, we'll get into it. Initial thoughts. Let's go with Sean this time. I think we went Marcus last time. Sean, what's your initial feels for this?
I think you started with me last time, but that's fine.
Oh, did I? Then we're gonna go to Marcus. No, go ahead, Sean.
I have no idea. Like, what the did we just watch? Like, I was not high enough at all for that. Had I known, I maybe would have, consumed a little edibles or had a couple of drinks or something. Jesus Christ! Like. It was a trip, man. It was a trip.
It was that's a great way to explain. Marcus, what are your thoughts? I reckon they're going to be similar.
I would say What the Flux was that.
oh, dude. Okay, I'm writing that down. What the Flux? That was good.
Yeah. It's like someone's grandma decided to deep fake into everybody's Facebook memories.
Oh my Lord!
And they found an app that superimposes their face into every single one of your pictures, and all of a sudden, grandma's turning up on your nights out and selfies at work, etc., and so on and so forth. I can just about see what he was trying to do, and it's a very, very ambitious thing that he tried to do. Is it something that came off? I don't think it came off in the concept of a standalone episode. I will reserve judgment for when we are looking at the bigger picture in 3 episodes' time. And this is all set, done, and dusted when it may be time to do a 6-hour rewatch of Flux and go, like like in the at the end of like Loki, when everything comes together, or you end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or when you watch Avengers Endgame and you realize this, that, and the other was set up. I mean, he's basically trying to do a one-man Marvel verse in the but with Doctor Who, and I mean there were some interesting throwbacks, and I know we'll go into all this in detail, but yeah.
I'm gonna echo your guys' sentiments in that like that very first episode of the season, this definitely feels like a shotgun blast of plot stuff. It's like a mess. It's like we're here, we're in the future, we're in the past, we got Yaz and Dan as completely different characters. It was very much all over the place. However, it felt like it worked a little more than the premiere episode of this season. I don't really know why. I think the craziness was actually kind of weirdly interesting in that I found myself throughout the episode, whenever a character would pop up, thinking, okay, who is Yaz actually supposed to be this time? Oh, she's Vinder's boss. Who is Dan supposed to be this time? Oh, he's part of this squad that goes into the temple. And by the way, bitchin' armor that they look like Halo Spartans and fire team that they were being dropped in parts of the episode. But it was all over the place. It was kind of hard to follow at times because you don't really know what's going on. But like you, Marcus, I'm going to reserve judgment until this gets kind of finished at the end. But I didn't not like it, and that's a weird thing to say. I did not like it. I guess maybe I enjoyed it because it was more about seeing what was happening rather than the plot. I guess
it was entertaining.
It's entertaining.
It basically comes down to, it's like something you buy from Etsy.
Yeah.
You're not sure what you're going to get. It's vaguely going to look like something that's recognizable. You might like it, you might not. It might grow on you.
Mm-hmm.
But this was an Etsy purchase, in my opinion.
This is an Etsy purchase. You know what's interesting about this is, and I think you brought up a little bit, Marcus, when you said the sort of the Loki stuff. Chibnall was trying a lot of things in this episode. Like he was really doing some uncharted territory for Chibnall, especially in premise behind it. Like I loved your analogy of the deep fake stuff because it definitely feels like that. But I don't know. It was an interesting concept to see play out on TV.
Which part?
Just the idea of hopping into the different bodies and having them go through the different, temporal zones, not necessarily time periods, but it's more about the whole,
Oh,
location.
You mean how? Okay, yeah. So they basically
that idea was cool, and then to top it off, my girl Jo Martin,
your
awesome.
Girl.
I can't marry her. I'm already married, but Jo Martin, my favorite doctor. I think my favorite doctor in a long time because she's just been this badass. She makes an appearance, and we find out a big thing that our doctor was actually before this doctor, right? She's doctor number 13 is from Jo Martin's past, I believe is what they said.
No, Jo Martin's future. 13 past.
I'm sorry, somehow it works out.
So this
was memories Jodie doesn't have. It's the timeless child stuff.
Okay.
So this is where
fugitive doctors, right? Fugitive doctors, what they call it.
Yeah. This is why I really hope that everything gets retconned because I don't want to wipe out Jo Martin's performance. And I don't want to wipe out what Jodie Whittaker has brought, during a very trying time as the Doctor. But I think Jo Martin's, if they're going to use her moving forward, they're going to have to really explain it out and not have it, the Gallifreyans wiped out half the memories of your regenerations and brainwashed you, and then all of a sudden this is how you're going to get infinite regenerations because you're still the timeless child. But now there's 30,000 other Doctors that you've been before, and really just mess with everything. I mean, I would like to see Jo Martin brought back. I would love to see her get some time. I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, as fine a Doctor as she might be, I think she's pretty much tainted, unfortunately, by this time of child crap. But yeah, I would love to see her. I mean, maybe this is something that we will see as a spin-off. The other thing is to see this version of the Doctor, and I'm not talking about a female, a woman of color. I am talking about outside of the Time War, we're now seeing another Doctor commanding a military unit that involves shooting and killing and the fudge. That's not any Doctor we've ever seen, apart from the literal War Doctor, who literally was one regeneration. So what's Chibnall thinking? What is his thinking behind creating another War Doctor, other than he really, he wants to leave his stamp on canon and still wouldn't have an original idea if it bit him in the balls. So, I mean, this is unfortunately, and with this episode kind of being all, I really hope we're not dropping back into Prime Chib, because we don't need Prime Chib. That's a good point. You can remember the first couple of episodes of the very first season. Interesting, some good stuff. It's like, and then they did Rosa Parks, which was a peak and still is probably the best episode of the Chibnall era for me.
Yeah.
And then it went at the end of Rosa Parks, you can almost see the Doctor looking off a cliff, and Chibnall sneaking up behind her like a Scooby-Doo villain, going the little legs going, and the whole season and the whole series literally falls off a cliff. Look at me with the analogies tonight. I'm on fire.
I love it. You're on fire.
Fire. So yeah, I really hope that. I mean, put it this way: it does finish on something very interesting. I mean, last week we had that battle, the
Sontarans,
with the Sontarans, which tied up a nice little thing there. This week, I still don't know what those people in the deadlock on the planet Time really were. I mean, it's like,
sure,
again, Chibnall's been watching too much Marvel. He's like, oh, they're going to do What If. Maybe I'll put my own versions of the What Ifs. Or too much.
Yeah, it kind of does feel like it, doesn't it?
I wish.
The Guardian from the Green Lantern Corps. So, yeah, we'll see what happens next week. This one felt, I mean, it was definitely confusing. Didn't have they tried to end it on a cliffhanger. But when you don't know what the fuck's going on, there's no point putting a cliffhanger in, because every single part of it is a cliffhanger. Nobody knows what's going on. It's nice to see some backstories, especially of Grey Worm. I can remember his Game of Thrones name. I can't remember.
Same here. You're totally right.
Yeah, I mean, that love story. What? Yay. Hurrah. We love conquers all galaxies.
Belle, I think was her name. Something.
Yeah.
Sure.
End was the last. It's amazing how she, I mean, again, this character who evades the Daleks and can take out half a dozen Cybermen, no problem at all. Great, good for her. More power to her. I mean, she does better stuff than most people can. But yeah, this whole for love thing. I mean, who knows how that's going to work now that he's is he out of the equation now? Is he left back on his planet, and does she have to literally schlep all the way back there? Is he going to get caught by the Daleks? Which
You know
is
what's interesting is you mentioned the love. No, I was gonna say you mentioned the love story because there was a moment where Yaz kind of looks at him with sort of the. I don't know. It seems like there's this Yaz Vinder vibe going, right?
Little sparky spark, yeah.
Sparky spark.
Yeah, and we were hoping that would be, I was suggesting rather that would be the case, and that would be nice to see Yaz sign off with something, maybe go and travel the stars with somebody. Hey, unless we're up for an intergalactic threesome, who knows?
I have, I'm ignoring that, but
never ignore an intergalactic threesome.
Isn't the Flux? Didn't we see it destroying planets? Just gobbling them up like nothing.
Yeah.
So
was it destroying planets though? We don't know what happens. I mean, and look, if the Flux could destroy planets, are you telling me that the cloak of ships around it really could withstand the Flux?
I don't know.
The Flux was destroying everything in its path. Again, we're heading into Prime Chib.
So that was one thing that confused me. Is he got home. He got home during the beginning of Prime Chib, and his planet was still there, but it was all destroyed and stuff, like the cities or whatever. So that confused me, part one. Part two, they just walked out of a time machine. Why did he stay on the busted planet? Yeah. Why not just go back to her before the Flux hit it? We haven't heard anything about the Flux being some sort of time locked situation, or like he's now a fixed point because he got there when it's destroyed. Just go back a year or like 6 months or whatever. And I don't know. I don't get it. It's a really weird oversight for this show in particular to not like explain, no, you can't do that. It's like, oh, this is all fucked up out here. Okay, let's hop back in 6 months and we'll see what we can do about it. So I don't know. I think it's weird that, and then she was just like, all right, good luck. Like, what? It's like clearly in some sort of wasteland, and it's just like, all right, press 0, we'll come back for you.
Yeah, here's your big red button.
What the hell? It was so in an otherwise episode that was like entertaining enough in its what the fuckery. That one was just like bizarre to me. I just didn't get that at all. So, and I appreciated the little, like, I liked the reveal. It was him and her and their baby, and I liked that she was this cool, like, chippy, really likable badass. But man, that ending was just so jarring. I just don't get it. I know obviously he'll come back before the end of the Flux, but
yeah,
it was weird. It was very strange. So, but my fears have been super confirmed.
What's that?
That this is all like one season for him to justify as much as possible with the time was child shit, and to build it up as much as he can, and just ram it to the lore and the ethos. And now we've got, that's the division. This doctor leading this army of soldiers again. That's the division stuff that they hinted at last time on our little fugitive doctor situation. So, and this is the thing, like Marcus said, 30,000 lifetimes, 30,000 versions of regeneration, and now they could be a million different iterations that have nothing to do with anything that has been the Doctor from 1 to 13.
For all we know, we're doctors, right?
And it sucks. It sucks. Yeah. It's never mind the fact that, like, I've always hated it because it takes away what make, in my opinion, the Doctor special, is that it was just a random Gallifreyan Time Lord who went out and decided to change what he was supposed to do.
Yeah,
he and she. But to now Marcus's point is like there's 100 million versions of this person before, from the beginning of the universe or the Gallifreyan space travel days, whatever. And they could be anything. They could be a crazy warrior god. They could be, a super soldier. They could be, and it's just,
they could be a kebab.
I can't get over it. It could be a kebab, yeah, and I can't get over it. I can't get over it. It is completely stifling my ability to enjoy the rest of the show, of which I'm actually finding it the best Chibs is done, even though, as Marcus pointed out, we are dangerously close to peak Chib. And it just sucks. It just sucks that, like, she showed up and Val and I were like, oh, shit, and then the reality sank in and we're like, oh, right. And that's everything around this, the enemies, the appearances by these actors, the potential implications, all of it gets pulled down by the fact that it's going to spin out to this timeless child thing, and it's going to completely rewrite the history of the show.
Look, I just want them to go full Dallas. I want them to pay Peter
I hope
Capaldi
so.
just enough money so that at the end, basically the final shot is that Matt Lucas walks into the TARDIS, opens the shower door. Capaldi's there showering, and as if he's been there the whole time. And this is for anybody under the age of 40, by the way. You're not going to, maybe even under the age of 50, you're not going to get this. And then as he steps out of the TARDIS shower, slips on a bar of intergalactic soap, falls, cracks his head, regenerates, and scene. And then we'll get a new doctor. And look, I'm happy, honestly, bringing in Joe Martin or whoever, giving us somebody, who's not being written by Chris Chibnall. But that is timeless child shit has got to go. And I don't know if you've seen, but the ratings keep on going down. I mean, they are going down and down and down.
They're down from last season. But apparently from what I was, they've been down the last few seasons. Apparently from what I was reading yesterday is that there is a general down across all of the stuff that BBC and ITV and those have been pushing out. So it's more indicative of people going towards streaming and Netflix and other stuff.
Are these down numbers including the digital side, including streaming?
They are,
but player now as well.
Yes,
I mean, it really is. The numbers, the viewing numbers are, they are trending down, and it's very, very sad.
Yeah.
Here's hoping that what Russell T Davies can bring back is this joy and curiosity and desire for Doctor Who and the Whoverse. Or otherwise, the 60th anniversary, we might see it just being cancelled again.
I'm going to reckon that, or I'm going to make a prediction that, yes, he will help bring some of it back. But also, I would say let's hold off to, I think the reality of finding out how successful viewing numbers are for this will be the 28-day. So the 1 month viewing numbers, because that's when there's still a lot of people talking about it, and the season will be almost over by the time the full month goes by for the first that first episode. You'll really understand what those numbers are. So
the overnights are down though, to Marcus's point.
Oh yeah, no, they totally are.
4.43 for the premiere, 3.96 for the second one, and 3.76 million for this one. So,
and I feel like people are just kind of tired of it's been going down. Even Capaldi's stuff was headed down.
There's just not a lot of hype around the show. Like
and it's totally the BBC's fault.
Yeah, and even with word of mouth and ours kind of like, even us, we've been like, hey, this is solid for Chibnall. Like I get it. Like there's not why would we run out and tell our friends to watch this? Why would we tell the lapsed friends like Steve and those guys to tune into this? I wouldn't. Even now I wouldn't. Like but and I don't know. It's just a tough spot right now. I don't want to retcon Jodie's whole run, but I would very much like to retcon all this time with child bullshit and just spin it away from Gallifrey, or make it a weird tangent thing. Let's say they brainwashed her into thinking it was her, make it the Master. I don't care. I know I say this every week, but like, just do something. Like just. I wish he would curveball us. I really do. But like in a good way, not like the time was tied away he did last season. Not like a good curveball, not a Chibnall curveball.
Not a Chibnall curveball.
You've lived 100 million lives up to this point. You don't know me. I don't know you. Now let me get my gun.
The Chibnall curveball is that Davros created the Doctor in a test tube on Scarborough.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
But somehow then the Doctor creates Davros at some point.
Who do you guys think was the mystery woman at the end?
I don't know, because it's another mystery.
I know who we always think it is.
Last week we had the mystery house, right? This week we have the mystery woman. Neither of them have been fully explained. I'm wondering if some of these will, at least the house, I hope, gets explained by the end of this season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we the other thing is that ending.
Yeah,
because I got to say, that is a really interesting ending with regards to the Weeping Angels
Yeah.
and that line.
Mhm.
The Weeping Angels have taken the TARDIS is a really interesting line, and I'm interested to see what's going on with them, because obviously they were popping up in and out the entire thing, and it was almost like, you remember, and again I'm going back old school, remember the 1960s Adam West Batman, where it would go all swirly and the bat logo would pop out as they changed things.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what I was kind of expecting, with the swirly, and the angel go woo and back in. So yeah, seeing that angel, and as the lights went down and the movements and everything, that was artistically and aesthetically was striking. Really like that. And we know the Angels have wanted a TARDIS for a while, because obviously going back to their debut story, they were trying to get in the TARDIS, and then Sally Sparrow and everything and all of that. That great episode.
Yes.
Blink. Yes, indeed. So yeah, I mean, that one is going to be interesting. I just don't know if Chibnall is going to how he's going to execute. I mean, the trailer is the planet, the village of the angels or something. I don't know how that's going to work.
The village of the
yeah. So we'll see.
It was.
I haven't. I refuse to watch the next week.
I won't say anything about it, but it was cool. It was cool. If we can bring Menace back to the Angels, it would be nice to give him that props, because they've fallen a little bit. Thank you for bringing this up. I completely forgot about this badass ending. How in the world did an angel know how to pilot the TARDIS? That I find as intriguing as the fact that it was in there in the first place.
They've been around a long time. Well, I mean, and apparently it got in on her phone after jumping out of Call of Duty. So something else we can blame Activision for now, apparently.
Was that Call of Duty or Fortnite? I'm not 100% sure.
But that's a Moffat thing. That's not a Chibnall thing.
Yeah.
That goes back to Moffat and Amy Pond and having dust in her eye and everything. So the image of an angel could become an angel.
You know, I to kind of take a slight little tangent, I've been playing some of the Doctor Who games. We get review codes over at SideQuesting a lot for Doctor Who stuff. And
what's SideQuesting?
What is SideQuesting? And
what's the Doctor Who game?
Yeah, so what is a Doctor Who game? There aren't a lot. And I think part of that, again, is indicative of the BBC and why they cannot build hype for this show. They still believe that they have to keep it very UK based. It feels like it, instead of really understanding that the show at one point became a massive worldwide phenomenon, that people, the fan base was potentially even bigger in the US than it was in the UK for a while, with Tennant and Smith. But they don't know how to properly hand out licenses, because they've only done some really bad adventure games and some puzzle, like Match 3 puzzle games, and that's some kind of nasty VR stuff. So BBC needs to go. Well, first off, that Lego Doctor Who would be the right thing to do, as you brought up years ago, Marcus. But it's that hype that they cannot build a successful IP around Doctor Who, and it's really sad. It's maddening, I guess.
When we return to the peak Whoverse with multiple different aspects under Russell T, there has got to be somebody, preferably at Bad Wolf, who knows how to help license this stuff out, especially if Bad Wolf are then owned by Sony. Fingers crossed we could be looking at this moving out into quality over quantity. I mean, we know that a Lego Doctor Who game would be great. I mean, Traveler's Tales have been itching to make it for a long time. I mean, I know because I've spoken to people there who want to meet it. Want to make it. So that would be the best thing. And who knows? Maybe I will start badgering those guys to say, we'll do a GoFundMe to get the license.
There you go. We need some eccentric billionaire to. Just kidding. With that said, we got three more episodes to go of this season, but then there's all the specials throughout the year. I'm going to be starting something kind of interesting. I'd like to do for the show, sort of
naked podcasting.
Naked podcasting. No, I'm going to start a little bit of a B-side where I'll be, instead of reading all the comments and stuff on these episodes proper, maybe we could do a little side episode where we we read some of the comments of our listeners and followers.
No, unacceptable. Screw 'em.
Unacceptable. It's Strom's fault. No.
We're the experts here. No, I
Yeah.
kid. I kid.
No,
People get-
let us know how you feel about the latest Doctor Who episodes, and maybe we'll do a little B-side or a little addendum once in a while with some of your
And then
guys.
you have to explain to everybody what a B-side is.
Exactly, because they don't know.
Because again, if you're under, say, I don't know, 45, maybe even under
that's
40,
true.
you got no freaking clue.
Sean has no idea. Sean has no idea what a B-side is.
Nope. I assume it's some sort of burger from a fast food restaurant. So
I
B-side
don't even
with
ask him
fries.
about what a 12-inch is.
Oh boy! On that note, thank you guys again, Marcus, Sean. It's always awesome to chat with you, gentlemen's. As you can tell, I need.
Sounds God.
Sounds God. Sounds.
It's okay. This is your warm up for your real show, so this is fine.
This is the real show. This is the real show. No, it's always a blast. I love chatting with y'all, and look forward to chatting next week as well. Again, let us know how you feel. You can find us on the socials all over the place at Dolly. I did it.
Were you just giving out your email address?
Dolly's like
at Dolly
13684 social shit.
It's at Annoyed Gamer.
At Annoyed Gamer. At Sean Norton.
Sean Norton. How am I
Dolly
still so bad at this?
I even put it on the screen this week.
You did, and I'm so.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We love you at Lonely TARDIS.
Yeah.
We love y'all. We'll see you in the next episode of Lonely TARDIS. Bye bye.